Marquez. Number 12, Nate Giles. Number 13, Hayden Kenny. Number 15, Hector Guevara. Number 16, Max Run. Number 17, Kevin Castro. Number 18, Jacob Ponce. Number 30, Jair Vargas. Number 55, Andrew Ariola. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand if you're able and face the flag, and let's honor America for the playing of our national anthem.
And we welcome you to Futbol Fridays here on Hornet Radio. I am Ryan Osborne, joined by Joseph Pavlenko and Mark Pavlovich, and an entire crew here from Hornet Radio ready to give you the final game of this season, regular season-wise. Guys, you take a look at these Fullerton College Hornets. They are almost assured of a first-round bye at this point. But the storyline is on the other side. Mark, you have seen this Saddleback team multiple times this season. They need a win to make sure that not only do they assure themselves they are basically already in the postseason thanks to PowerPoints, but an opportunity to host.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. And everything's based on PowerPoints, so don't look at everybody's schedule in the sense of they're 10-2, they're 9-3, oh, they'll make it. It's who they played against, and then you hope whomever you played against is a team that beats the heck out of all their opponents. If not, Joe, at the end of the day, you might not make the playoffs unless you are a conference winner.
Or unless you live in the universe of Pokemon, where they also have PowerPoints, but that's what you use for your moves, and you just give your Pokemon a little PP up, and there you go, you got some more points. Well, it's a PowerPoint up, but it's abbreviated in the game. That's a lot of text for a Game Boy game, Ryan.
It is indeed, as Fullerton College gets set to try and go out there and get an opportunity to host here at Fullerton for the second straight year. That's going to be the big thing that you will see along the rest of the night. So as soon as the opening kickoff is away, we will get you our starting lineups for tonight. Saddleback will be first. They are in the all-white uniforms with the burgundy or maroon, we'll call it, Mark, numerals.
They, my brain just went dead. They call it
Mauve.
No. It's not
Crimson?
It's not crimson. It's what is USC? Cardinal?
Cardinal. They are
Cardinal.
Cardinal.
That's what they call it.
So there you go. The Cardinal and gold numerals, and they are, or they have a shade of outlining as well. So Saddleback with the ball to start things off. We bring it to the Saddleback starting lineup. Nathan Aquino, joined by Jason Starks, and Zarak Ayub, joined by the leading scorer for this squad, Andrew Junn, in addition to Christoph Lukmeyer, and you're also looking at Gus Rodesender, in addition to Ryan Mann, Tyler Peterson, Alex Martinez, Griffin Pugh, and the goalkeeper is Tyler Bourbonnais. Now you switch it over to Fullerton College. They're starting 11, very similar to what we saw the last two times that they have been out here on Futbol Fridays. For Fullerton College, they begin with Cisco Torres and Cesar Marquez, Nathan Giles with Hayden Kenny, as well as Hector Guevara, Max Ron with Kevin Castro and Jacob Pons, who had an excellent time last week on Futbol Fridays, J.R. Vargas, and Andrew Areola. As the Bobcats get the first opportunity of this one, goes off the side of the foot of Starks, and that one gets flown away. Goalkeeper for Fullerton is Ryan Marino Rojas. So that does it for the starting lineups for these two squads. Mark, Joe, you look at Fullerton College, as we mentioned. Based on PowerPoints, it's an assured thing that they're in, even if they weren't conference champions. Just where they sit, 12th in PowerPoints of the 24 eligible spots. But if they get themselves a win here tonight, they can actually get themselves into the top 8 and host not only just a postseason matchup, but get a first-round bye.
Yeah, and that's what both these coaches were talking about. It's even like BJ when I went down the field and him and I started visiting with each other, and he goes, Mark, this is huge for us because if we win, we might get to host a game. And that's what they're looking at tonight. Not moving up any place in the standings, Ryan, just the possibility of hosting a game.
Here's Bones with Kevin Castro. Castro gets called for a foul, and it's a free kick going the way of Saddleback.
And, guys, here's the thing. The top 8 get a bye first time around, right? Isn't that the way it works?
No, you are correct. First round bye goes to the top 8, and then the next 16 are going to face one another for the opportunity to play those teams with the first round bye. If you remember last year, Fullerton College did get a first round bye, and unfortunately for Hornet fans, as this one is flown off to the right and past the end line for a goal kick. But Fullerton College had a first round bye through the first match day of postseason. They played Santa Barbara here at home, ended up losing that one in penalty kicks. And the Fullerton College Hornets looking to improve on that overall. But like we mentioned, they're sitting actually at number 10 in PowerPoints, and they can get into the top 10 mark with a win over a quality opponent in Saddleback.
Yeah, and that's in the southern section we're talking about when
Right.
we're talking about the PowerPoints, Joe. And, I mean, that's the big thing when you talk about these teams. They're both really – Saddleback's a team that's good. They do well defensively. They basically have 2 people that attack the net for them. Diversity is what Fullerton's got. Who's going to score tonight? You know, if we had to lay money on this, I guess you pick a name and drop $5 on it, and hopefully you win.
I was going to say, we throw all of the frontline players, their names in a hat. We'll just draw names, and that's how it might happen on the field tonight.
Yeah, and you look at Fullerton's overall scoring so far this season. No one with more than 4 goals, Max Ron and Hayden Kenny. Then after that, you have 4 different guys in Marquez, Areola, Gomez, and Palacios, each with 3. Then Jacob Pons with 2, and everyone else has 1. Now, if you're looking at it from an offensive standpoint, you're thinking to yourself, okay, that's a real good, balanced offense, kind of like a good breakfast. It gives you the opportunity and sets you up well. But the only thing for Fullerton is, like you said, yes, you have so many different scorers, but the only downside to that is that you need to find the guy that you can look at and say, I need a goal right now, go and get me one.
Right. It's the Fullerton College Hornets and the search for the golden boot. It's like an Indiana Jones movie.
Choose wisely.
Well, and I'm going to disagree with you, Ryan, because seeing I'm the slim one up here with the non-caloric intake, I think that's where you want to look at the amount of goals against for both these teams. So I'm going to look at the slim fast while you guys just want to eat. And you know what? When you look at the two, under 1 goal a game is what Fullerton does. I think it's 1.29 for Saddleback.
Yeah, 1.21 for Saddleback. Fullerton at .71 goals against. Ryan Marino Rojas with a .92. He has the higher of the two, as Steven Martinez has a .71. Ryan Marino Rojas has been very good for Fullerton in his time in goal, obviously with the goals against average, but his positioning has been great and his team has relied on him many times. This one will be picked up by Rodesender just over top and right past our camera.
Wow. That was a kick.
Had a lot of bend to it, lots of spin to it, and it's almost like it had that top spin that Cesar Marquez was talking to you about a couple weeks ago, Joe.
Yeah, it did. I'm still processing Mark over here and his comment to you and the straw man in the booth with his argument.
Oh, well, us two slim partners over here, Joe.
No, don't put me in with the straw man folk.
Oh, hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Down the middle goes to Hayden Kenny. Kenny trying to keep it, ends up going off of a Bobcat and out. So a toss in far side as Fullerton wants to pick it up quickly, and they go with Nathan Giles. Giles scooped over to Marquez. Marquez now with Gomez. Gomez tries to drop it down, actually make that Kevin Castro. Castro loses possession for a moment, and the Bobcats take over. Nice job there by Ryan Mann to take it for a moment, but Hayden Kenny says, hey, you know what? I see the run. I'm going to take it away. Bobcats slide in, make sure they get it back. Possession goes to Saddleback.
And, Ryan, you watch Saddleback. They will get back very deep defensively. Sometimes you look and say, no wonder they don't have multiple scorekeepers, because they emphasize the defensive side, even though goals against, Fullerton leads in the OEC.
Yeah, you've been covering Saddleback all season, Mark. Brian and I have been out here at Futbol Fridays and just seen them for the first time in person this year. I'd say their backline looks almost as comfortable as Fullerton's backline does under pressure.
Well, and your midfielders drop back very quickly, Joe, for them. So sometimes you will look and they'll be 6 deep on the defensive end. Does that hurt them offensively? Yeah, but when you talk to BJ, he said this has been a team that's adapted to the style of play, much like Greg's team's adapted to what they're doing this year.
Back line for Fullerton active here. Evan Yole watching on here tonight as he doesn't get the start for these Hornets, but in the postseason you can pretty much assure yourself of penciling him into the starting 11. Here's Castro. Little poke off the top of the foot. Doesn't end up staying with Fullerton. Goes off the Bobcats and away it will fly. Rodesender trying to get up to it, but it actually ends up being judged as a Hornet who touches it last, and Rodesender will get it back. Foul against Fullerton College. That will end up going against Jacob Bones.
Joe, you looked at it. We talked about last year's team as we're so close to the playoffs, and this year you've seen both years. How do you assess this year's team?
I think this team doesn't have the strikers up front like they did last year, but like Ryan said earlier, any foot could be a dangerous foot. They just don't have that consistently dangerous foot. Let's say they don't have that greedy player that always wants the ball and tries to find the back of the net. It's worked out for the Hornets so far this season, and I'm with you, Mark. I see them going as far as they can go this year. We'll call Ryan the skeptic over on the other side of the booth. But color me Ted Lasso. I'll put the I believe sign above the door at the end of this broadcast.
Ryan, do they really need that guy they can go to, though, in the playoffs? Do you have to have that?
I don't think you have to have it in the sense of it has to be a true 10, 15 goal scorer. But I do think that you need to have one person you can rely on to create offense on their own. I think it's a very crucial aspect in the postseason. That last chance there by Saddleback doesn't end up going in, as Alex Martinez actually ends up getting that one to deflect off his foot, and Ryan Marino Rojas is there. But I think you have to find a guy that you can say, hey, go create an offensive chance. Now, they do have a lot of guys who are very opportune, like Hayden Kenny, who's got the ball here. But I think if you're looking at this Fullerton offense, it is very reliant on moving up the park at a more methodical rate. You're not going to see them create a lot off the dribble. You're not going to see them create a lot in one-on-one situations. You're going to see them move up as a system, up as a shape. That's where their offense comes from. I think in the postseason, you need to have a solid balance between being able to move it up the park at your pace and at your leisure and what you want to set as the pace. But you have to have one or two guys that you can look at and say, hey, you know what, nothing is working for us the way that we would like it to. So can you go out and not just get me a goal, but can you go out and get me a solid chance? They have to find that person you can rely on.
Well, speaking to Greg earlier in the year, that's what their ideal was for Hayden Kenyon. What we have seen earlier this season, what we saw tonight earlier with him dispossessing one of the Bobcats earlier in the game, it's Hayden Kenny goes out there and does his best to try to create those opportunities and feed the ball.
And he's very good at getting those opportunities. Like you said, Joe, last season, you look at Hayden Kenny, and also that stretch this season where he had the 2 goals and an assist in a 2-game stretch. He can do that. It's just a matter of you look at this Fullerton offense and how widespread it is, and there's a lot of different styles of play on the pitch at the same time. So it's how well can you get all those styles to work at the exact same time and still try and get yourself the results you want. Now, Fullerton has had a lot of success in Orange Empire Conference play, if I remember correctly. It is their best OEC season that they have seen in many years. But can they get it to roll and get a cohesive, not only just a cohesive unit, I should say, but get multiple guys who they can look at and say, go get us something when everything's not working.
Well, I'm going to snuggle up with Mark over here for a second since we're the like-minded two of the group and say, Mark, being able to have a bunch of different styles of play on the field, that sounds to me like you're going to keep your opponent on your toes, and that sounds pretty important to postseason play.
Yeah, and Joe, what I like about the fact is being so multifaceted as the Hornets are, and Ryan says it's nice to have somebody that you know you can count on. I've got 5, maybe 6 people that I can count on, not if that one person has the bad night. And I do believe, you know what, I like Hayden Kenny as a player. And I think if he'd have had, or if he would have said, I got an ego, I think he could have been that person that you base everything on. Max Ron's another one. Big leg, baby. You could put everything on him. You could have done it with those two. I like the versatility in this Hornet team.
I think you're kind of onto something, though. This squad works pretty well, pretty cohesively as a team together. Ryan, am I off base in saying maybe a couple of the players on the front line maybe need to be a little bit more selfish?
Yeah, no, I think that's where it goes to, is that the system works so well as Rodesender takes the shot on goal and Ryan Marino Rojas gets his second save. I think the system works so well that you see a lot of guys looking for that pass first. And yes, you always do want them to get that pass first and get that opportunity to get that pass away to begin with, because that's where their offense is created. But there are some times that we've seen guys like Hayden Kenny, Marquez, Pons, Thomas Gomez as well, have opportunities, but they take a look at making that extra perfect pass, if that makes sense. They're looking for that perfect chance. And while you will be able to get those chances if your system is working, if you can't do that, or you can't do that at all times with teams in the postseason, because plain and simple, it's the postseason. Everyone has the book on you. They know exactly what type of pace they want to play you at, and they'll try and force you into a specific spot or a specific pace of play that you're not comfortable with. When you get into that spot, as this one just goes off the side of the net, does it go off of a Hornet? And the official says it goes off of a Bobcat at the end. But when you get forced into that uncomfortable play, how can you say, I'm going to take the chance myself because I'm open? Yes, the system is working, but can I just look at it and say, hey, I've got an open frame here. I'm going to take it.
Right, instead of looking for the one through ball to rule them all. And we saw how that wound up in Lord of the Rings.
So you're asking for the front line to say my precious.
No.
And This one goes backspun over towards the top. A save is made. Beautifully done there by Bourbonnais. And Bourbonnais is able to get that ball. Mark, you've seen him this season. Positionally right there, an impressive spot to be in, knowing that that was close to the crossbar and still tracking it when a lot of other goalkeepers, as we've seen this season, would have let that go mistakenly.
Yeah, and the thing that he does is he is an athletic goalkeeper, and of course that's one thing Fullerton's got. Both the goalkeepers, him and Dufresne for Saddleback, are extremely athletic, and they use their athletic ability to keep those goals against down for this Bobcat team.
Here's Hayden Kenny. Opportunity for him. He drops it back to a teammate. Doesn't get over to Marquez as he would have liked. Saddleback trying to hurry. Ariola has to catch up to it, and he takes it away to the far side touchline where it finds Ron. Ron now to Marquez. Marquez tries to dummy it right past himself, and he gets it back. It's a takeaway. Tries to get that one to a teammate. It's scooped away off a Bobcat and away past the end line. So it is a corner kick for Fullerton College, their second of this matchup, and the Hornets trying to strike once again.
You watch his Saddleback team, Joe, so fundamentally sound. BJ's got him. It's, you know, the old things we're used to when you teach kids the first play, hey, if you're in trouble, take it up and out. This team will use the sidelines as another player when they're out there on the field. That's what I appreciate. Them and the women, both coached by BJ. The basics of soccer are ingrained in this team.
And back to my earlier comment, Ryan, what I'm asking for is
The ring?
essentially, yeah, 3 to elves, what is it, 9 to men, 7 to dwarves, something like that?
Fullerton is going to take this corner kick, trying to do the math on where all the rings should go. It's a short corner here for Fullerton. They end up turning it over where it will be cleared away, and the Hornets are going to have to throw this one in if it gets to the touchline. It does not. Cisco Torres takes over. The Hornets have 3 different guys in the box, but it gets taken away. Nicely done there by Griffin Pugh.
So we've got
Another shot. Ryan Marino Rojas takes over.
And Jason Starks was going to be open on the outside, and a run for the Bobcats was never looked at on that one. If he does, he's got an opportunity for the Bobcats out here. Fullerton once again trying to come up with something quick on the outside back as Ponce gets it on his foot, drops it and leaves it there, looking for somebody to take it to, Ryan. And so far, both defenses have played solid defense on the field tonight.
It's interesting that Joe said that this Saddleback defense looked a lot like Fullerton, what we've seen from Fullerton so far this season, as Fullerton will get a sub in. It looks like Saddleback will do exactly the same. We'll get word on that in just a moment. Taking a seat will be Zirak Ayub, and it looks like Alex Martinez. So a much more forward-centric type lineup coming in now, as Kevin Sanchez will be in for Saddleback, and we'll get the other one in just a moment. Looks like actually Andy Garcia takes over on the other side. So you get a forward and another midfielder in for a defender here, Mark. And for Saddleback, you and I were talking about it before this matchup started. For Saddleback, these Bobcats need to get a win so that way they can have their hat in the ring, essentially, for hosting a playoff matchup. They're in the playoffs by power points alone, plain and simple. But in order to get themselves that chance, like you said, the chance to host, they've got to get a win over a very solid opponent and a conference champion in Fullerton.
Yeah, and that's a thing. And, I mean, they want to host. The women, I'm pretty sure, from Saddleback will be hosting playoff game as they lead the OEC again this season. Cyprus right behind them on the women's side, so you know what both these teams are doing.
Here's Kenny down the middle, tries to get it to a teammate, gets deflected away. Corner kick Fullerton.
Wow, look at that, Mark. Hayden Kenny doing what you and I have talked about how he can do, and Ryan over here, the non-believer.
Why am I being thrown under the bus? Wow.
Well, we'll take you down to the river and dunk you so you can,
Take me to the river. What?
yeah, be with Joe and I. Wash you behind the ears.
Right to the Jordan as this corner kick comes up. And Fullerton is going to have their third corner opportunity of this matchup in the early going. We're just about 20 minutes done. High floater towards the back post. Areola is there for a second, but Saddleback's not only going to be able to clear, they can run with it. It's a 4-on-2 if they hurry. Little liner on the near side. Catches up with Jun. And Jun will scoop towards the middle. He still has possession. Tries to get that one back over to a teammate. Doesn't connect, and Griffin Pugh will have to take it. Pugh finds a Lutmeyer. Now Lutmeyer far side. He finds Kevin Sanchez. They reset with Pugh. The back line very active here. Near takeaway for Vargas. And he'll play it all the way back to Bourbonnais. High chopper. Finds Areola for a second. Bobcats are there. Very aggressive team, these Bobcats, from the back line on, Mark.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they understand that they have to attack a prolific Fullerton team. They've already played them. They know what Fullerton brings. And it's at that stage right now, you want that psychological advantage going to the playoffs. I mean, guys, let's be realistic. If I beat the #1 team in the OEC, I'm feeling pretty good when playoff time right around the corner. And if I put them back in the pool, Ryan, where they don't get that home game in the playoffs, I'm smiling if I'm BJ. I'm smiling if I'm not BJ, but that's okay.
Well, that was one of our conversations before the game, wasn't it? Will Fullerton have at least one home game? Could they clinch 2? What happens if they don't get the bye week, and all those sorts of conversations, and let's say dreams and schemes of what could happen in postseason, right, guys?
Yeah, exactly. And it all starts next Wednesday if you're not part of the elite.
Excellent scooper. Big collision here for the Bobcats. Hayden
Big
Kenny on the
opportunity.
turnaround trying to pop this one in, and the save is made by Bourbonnais.
Did I tell you he was athletic?
You did indeed, as he was tracking that one down like Willie Mays in the Polo Grounds. Reaches back for it over the top of his shoulder. He's able to poke it away. That ball was assuredly going in, and he's able to find a corner kick for Fullerton instead.
And Ryan, when you realize that he misplayed the first attack, he came out way too high, tangles up with one of his own guys, goes down. Instead of just sitting there feeling bad for himself, he got up and said, hey, make it true effort, and stops it.
So the stop forces Fullerton College to take a corner with Max Ron, high floater, looking towards the back post. Instead, it hits the crossbar of the field goal post, and it will end up being a goal kick. So, saving themselves from conceding the opening marker, Bourbonnais is able to poke that one out, and he saves the attempts, both of them, by Fullerton College.
You know what, Joe? I mean, it hit the back of the post. That's what Ryan was saying, you know.
It did indeed.
It did. It looked like one of our golf shots. Well, we couldn't hit it that far.
That's true. And I also actually hit a golf cart last time I went out.
Oh, there we go. At least it's in the air, not unlike one of Corey Nalen's shots.
Well, the golf cart was actually an exact 90 degrees over to my left, and I'm still not sure how I did that, but I made it possible.
Yeah, but you look good in a pink golf shirt.
I mean, you take the square root of a isosceles triangle and multiply that by the circumference of Corey Nalen's waistband, and I think that's the math problem. And then it hooks what do you say, a hard left?
A hard left, 90 degrees. This is over to the left as Joan is nearly able to get that one to work. Taken away by the Bobcats once again, and that one ends up going out. So throw in for the Bobcats. Isosceles triangle. A, I have not heard that term since high school. And B, I'm pretty sure I used that to cook with last night as I made pasta.
Oh, I thought you were making a bowl of circumference.
Left side, here are the Bobcats with Ryan Mann. Mann trying to bring it to the middle. He does so, deflected away. There's a Hornet who is hurt in the middle of the park. trying to recover there will end up being Hector Guevara, and they will call things for him because he is having a little bit of trouble, and he will be attended to by the athletic trainers here at Fullerton College.
That's another long whistle. Last Friday we were out here, and it was the closing whistle that ended up coming, where Ryan and I weren't sure if it was the closing whistle or a late injury whistle. And it was the closing minutes of the game, and as the game ended, we had a injured Hornet being tended to.
You know, I love Lorena, one of the best athletic trainers in the nation here for Fullerton College. Everybody starts running. Lorena points at people and go, you run out
take
there.
off."
Yay, take off. Get out there. Make sure he's okay. And they're going to walk him off the field, and then Lorena's going to take care. And, Ryan, I didn't see how he got hurt.
Neither did I. No, I just saw him completely pause, hands on his knees, and he was taking a moment for himself while the play was going on. The ball was near him, but he was faced away from it. So that's a very clear indication that, you know, a player is really needing to be attended to. Obviously, anytime that a player takes a second and motions over towards the trainers, it's a serious thing. But in this situation, Mark, the ball was near him, and he still had to face away from where the play of action was going because he needed to be attended to.
Yeah, so they've taken him off the field. Usually they will start play quickly again. They're just waiting to see if he's okay, looking over at the bench and letting him know.
It's all right in these trying times. It's all right to take a moment to yourself.
Fullerton's asking for a drop ball at the spot where he was injured.
Ooh, that's a position, all right. I mean, for a drop ball, you put the drop ball, that's what, inside the 18-yard, right?
Yeah,
would be.
exactly.
That is a position for a drop ball. Then that is, I would say that it isn't in the Hornets' favor if they get a drop ball there and the foul was committed on your team. I'd kind of try to negotiate against that, not argue, because you don't want to argue with the lead official, right? But I would go, really, our guy got hurt, and you want to give them that sort of opportunity?
But there was no foul called either, so as play continued while he was down.
Yeah, play continued. They're taking the ball to where the foul was called. It's Greg Aviles, head coach for the Fullerton College Hornets, takes the card over to our left. But where the ball was when they ended up blowing the whistle, that's where they're going to take it and drop it from.
Well, now, they brought the cart on the field. So, Ryan, now you believe that there might be, you know, something out there that they're cleaning up?
Yeah, some sort of, let's say, bodily fluid ended up on the turf. Listen, I tried to make it as sanitary as possible, and it sounded terrible.
But, yeah, no, it's also concerning, too, because, you know, usually you'll see something like that during an early September matchup or a late August matchup where it's 100 degrees outside. These athletes are, you know, running, they're training, they're coming out here and playing at full speed while maybe you're looking at it and going, okay, maybe it's a little dehydration. But what really concerns you is the type of day that it is. It's not a daytime matchup. It's not hot. So something is truly wrong.
Well, and that's the other thing, Ryan. It's not hot. It hasn't been crazy humid or anything like that. So you're not feeling like potentially you need to drink water. So it could be a spell of dehydration because you're not out here in sweltering heat like we were a month ago. And, you know, it's a sneaky thing, can catch up on you. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your toes there, Mark.
Oh, no, you were good.
No. I mean, I was looking for the trainers and seeing where they were at with him.
Last I saw, they were by the bench with him, I thought. It looks like Lorena's back out at the...
We feel for Guevara in this instance. I mean, it's a difficult thing, too, to regain your composure after something like that, too.
Yeah, and I mean, it's unfortunate, and whatever happened, I mean, honestly, it's when the NBA, right, you have to clean the playing surface because you can't have that out there because anything that could be a slip or trip injury to the athletes, whether it's professional or student, you can't add that risk of injury to a game that can already be, you know, something where you can get hurt playing.
You know, and here's the thing. I looked up the clock, so we'll see if they add on Ryan. It was roughly about 6 minutes of stoppage time.
Yeah, I believe you're correct, Mark. I thought it was 6.5.
Yeah, right around in there.
So, and we know the true stats are up here in the broadcast booth, so we're clocking it at 6.5 minutes at least of stoppage time here at Hornet Radio as we're on the broadcast.
I agree.
Okay. Could have been more like 6:15.
No, I say it's 6.5.
Do I need to bring the Abakai back out?
You know what?
If we're dividing by Corey Nalen's waistband, then it's 6.5 minutes of additional time. 14:45 showing on the clock, remaining here in this first 45 of play. As this one is brought towards the middle, Acevedo ends up getting his pass intercepted and chopped right back down for the Hornets to take over. David Garcia getting an early entrance into this one. Max Ron, little floater, backspun, left side. Picked up by the Hornets, Kyle Sherman. Here's Sherman, high floater, chance down the middle. Palacios was there for a moment, but Bourbonnais, who is having an excellent start to this matchup, is able to step in front of it.
That was a great save to what could have been a great play for the Hornets. And you were saying somebody entering the match, Ryan, so that would be our injury substitution, right?
You are correct. So David Garcia ends up being the injury substitution for Hector Guevara. And the Hornets now get a chance to push with under 14 minutes to play in this first half. Here's Acevedo. Initially, he was looking for Palacios, but it goes past him. Does find Hayden Kenny, though.
Well, it's like you said, Ryan. They're looking for the one through ball to rule them all. And when you take those types of extra seconds, especially in late conference play, and I think it's even more costly when you're in postseason play, seconds matter, right?
You are correct. And it's also flow of things as well. Fullerton, we have seen, is very good at making sure that momentum stays with them. Palacios has to get it away, and he does. Not the pass he was looking for, as Bourbonnais will take it over. Booted, far side. Ariola accidentally takes that one away, but you know what? He'll take it. Here's Sanchez. Sanchez on a give and go. Pops off his knee and goes right to Marino Rojas.
And so far, it has been the Bobcats that have been the attacking team out here tonight against your Fullerton College Hornets. And it really does. It looks like they're the most prolific team, yet really there's not been a lot of shots on goal by them. And if it wasn't for a great save by Bourbonnais, it's 1-0 Fullerton.
Yeah, and Fullerton College now with another chance as Jair Vargas drops it to his right foot, just tries to dribble past too many guys.
Some of the, let's say, trademark physicality from Hayden Kenny with almost a hockey-style hip check there, Ryan?
Indeed. Got possession for a moment. The Bobcats take it away, though, with Jason Starks. Starks gets dispossessed. He's working against Giles. Giles trying to catch up to it. Starks is able to catch up to Giles. And both those two guys going at each other just a shade. And Palacios gets called for a little elbow.
Yeah, he turned around and great acting. I wonder if he's part of the theater program on campus. I think that whistle was deserved. No, that was being chippy. That was taking it to a level it didn't need to be, guys. Don't look at me like that. Over here, I'm the martyr of Hornet Radio.
Not much different than a Hornet Radio, head of Hornet Radio telling us what people ought to do and how they, don't want to say he wants to tack anybody to a wall, but
this is what happens, and I thoroughly regret getting the coffee maker now. Because these guys have way too much energy for it being, well, okay, initially I was going to say it was late on a Friday, but it's barely like 6:30. So
Speaking of the coffee, Mark,
yeah,
I've heard Cynthia's Keurig machine
is still open?
Is still open, and I
Oh,
think that'd make a great addition to the press box.
I do too, yes. And I think the money ought to come out of somebody's salary over at Fullerton College. Since I don't get paid, that leaves me out of it.
not I.
No, you. There we go.
Oh, no.
Okay,
Oh.
there we go.
All right, 10:30 left to go in this first half.
Well,
We're-
16. We're stoppage time, right?
I was just about to mention,
Okay.
we're assuming about 6.5 minutes of additional time to go along with it. As that one goes out, Kyle Sherman tried to keep it in, but it goes past his foot and stays past the touchline. So a throw-in coming up in just a moment.
Another great turnout by the Fullerton College fans here for Football Friday here on Hornet Radio. And again, Saddleback across the way, just like Saddleback football last weekend, Ryan. Saddleback comes here to Fullerton to hopefully see their team win this one.
Hornets moving up. Side spinner. Pugh intercepts. Max Ron takes it back. Little check down, but it does work. It's a 1-2 for Fullerton, and that is well wide.
Knocking on the door, though, and I like to see it, Ryan. Keep them on their toes.
Yeah, that's what all Fullerton College football should have been against Saddleback, keeping their opponents on their toes. Not necessarily true for all football teams here at Fullerton.
I knew I recognized that shot well wide from somewhere. Ball booted far side. Bobcats with it once more. This time it's Tyler Peterson. Peterson with it, and the Hornets will take over. So Juan Luis Quintana, who just checks in for the Hornets just a couple seconds ago.
Thank you, Noah.
He'll get the last 9 minutes of this one.
The voice of Santa Ana College soccer, Noah Alvarez, the former student here at Fullerton College.
Salt of the earth. Good guy.
He is indeed, and that's the thing too, is that if you get the opportunity to continue to pay attention to community college and 3C2A action, Santa Ana got themselves a big win, and Joe, you were talking about it earlier. They got a nice little second half to get themselves a victory.
Yeah, from us talking earlier, I think it was, what did I say? They were up 4-1 in their game at the
4-1.
final score. Yeah. So that must have been an exciting call for Noah, all jokes aside. He's over there working his butt off, calling both footballs. So he's a football squared announcer, let's say.
And he's also the voice for Saddleback football when they're at home here on SportsNetUSA.net.
I wanted to say cubed, but that'd be 4. What's 3?
Trace?
Trace football.
Trace football.
Noah Trace football Alvarez. That's got a catchy ring to it.
I have given up.
I need another cup of coffee.
It's almost like Trace Chocolate.
Or Tres Leches.
There we go.
So you're telling me that there's an opportunity for fries cuatro quesos dos fritos.
Yes.
Exactly.
What is that? It sounds delicious.
This is popped over towards the left. If anyone has ever seen Psych, you are very happy with that reference. Ooh, as David Garcia just gets nailed right at the 45-yard line. Tough collision there between a Bobcat and Garcia. Garcia was looking towards the ball and ends up just getting kind of decked there by Kevin Sanchez on the far side of the park.
That's the hardest hit I saw on this field against Saddleback and Fullerton.
Some would describe it as a haymaker. He was almost knocked out.
I don't know. It looked like a slap to me.
You think you could go a couple more rounds, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you let me sip out of your coffee cup, I can go at least till the end of the game.
Up into the air. Here's a chance. Acevedo drops it down, but it finds Nathan Giles. Giles wants to bring it to his right foot. He is right-footed and dominant from there. Cisco Torres on the intercept. And Fullerton is going to get it back after a foul by Saddleback. So you're looking at about 3, we'll call it 4 yards outside the box, right-hand side of the 18. And Fullerton with a great opportunity to open the scoring.
You know, I've said this 2 or 3 times. When Fullerton has made these sort of, let's say, absent-minded or silly plays, if you're Saddleback and you want to kind of take Fullerton, needle them, mess with some of their postseason seeding, you don't want to make a play like this that close to the 18-yard line. That is too close to maybe giving up a penalty kick and maybe just giving up a goal.
So they're going to come over and have a discussion with Greg on what they should do as a set play right here, Ryan.
Oh, the hand-raising thing. I just realized, played soccer before, guys.
Little driven ball that goes over towards Ron. He gets the deflection back. He's trying to turn to his right foot, does get it back. Pokes it right down the middle. Deflection from 2. Clearance is there, and it's a throw-in.
I, having played soccer before, not at the collegiate level or anything, I thought that was just signaling to your team you were ready.
No, it's the play. It's the play itself.
It's like hand signs in baseball. I wonder if anybody's out here trying to steal signs tonight.
Deep toss. Here's Sherman. A shot. And Bourbonnais is there once more. So far, the goalkeepers from both sides have been spectacular. Bourbonnais is having himself a night. And the Bobcats pick it up and try and work a little offense of their own. Fullerton's going to get called for a foul far side right at the touchline in front of the Saddleback bench.
And you know what? I don't like that whistle. They should have allowed continuation because you had a forward on the move. He was not offside. They should have let a continuation play go for Saddleback.
Well, and he didn't lose advantage, right, Mark? That's kind of the important part sometimes that an official will take into account when making those calls. Did he lose advantage because of that contact? He didn't. He still had the ball, and he was off to the races.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Joe. I mean, it was one of those things. And he had made the pass, put it out there. He had a player out in front of him that could run underneath, stay onside. And you had a goalie that came out that was going to have to play on the ball for the Hornets. 3:40 to go in this first half, guys, and we're adding a little on there. So we're looking at halftime. Santa Barbara taking on LA Mission in the first half, 0-0. They're on Sportsnet. I'm so used to doing this for,
No, you're a busy
our
man,
broadcast.
Mark.
Hornet Radio?
Yeah, Hornet Radio.
No, you're a busy man, Mark.
I am.
FCHR?
Yes. FCHM, Hornet Media. Hornet Radio, a subsidiary of Hornet Media.
Down the middle. Bobcats looking for a chance. Kevin Sanchez.
I've kicked that ball. It's hard. How does that not hurt your face, especially this cold? That's got to sting.
Scoop back by Christoph Lukmeyer. And Lukmeyer ends up getting fouled. And it's interesting when you say that, Joe, because a lot is made in the gridiron football about how when the ball fully inflated is cold, it is so hard to be able to kick a field goal, not just accurately, because, when the ball is a lot more compact and it's colder, it's easier to be accurate with it. But the pain factor of approaching that ball is different. Now, when you look at it from a football, as this one is up in the air, left side, back-headed. Here's a little off the volley by Alex Martinez, goes off the side of his foot and then ends up with Marino Rojas. But it's got to be tough for these athletes going up and trying to approach this ball when it is this chilly.
Well, especially in Southern California, where do we love some good sweater weather? Yes. But nobody really thinks about, like you said, Ryan, it gets colder than we're used to. And every bit of contact has a little more sting to it in that cold night air.
Even when the weather is perfect, and if you're a broadcaster on the sideline trying to kick a soccer ball, it's difficult. Some people might have thought it was 30 below on that day.
Still made it to the net.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
It almost made it in. I was bending it, Mark. It was part of the plan. All part of the plan.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah, me too. I wish it happened more often.
Foul by Fullerton, which brings up a free kick. Saddleback again. Their aggressiveness has forced Fullerton College to be more physical when they're defending. And the calls haven't gone the Hornets' way, but if you're a Bobcats fan, you're very happy with the standing pace of this one. Checked over towards the left. Taken now by Andy Garcia. Garcia, liner that deflects away from two, just goes past the post. And Saddleback was maybe 2 feet away from opening the scoring in this one.
That was an opportunity. Was that shot intentional, do you think, Ryan? That made my heart skip a beat.
No, that was a pass to a teammate right down the middle. Initially, it looked like it was trying to go over to Andrew Junn. And Junn sees that one go past him. It deflected off of 3 different people to me from what it seemed like.
So we'll see how much time they go, Ryan. I mean, I wasn't looking at the clock when it went to the 2-minute mark here.
About 45 seconds ago, popped into the air. Fullerton saves it from near the line.
I think we are rapidly approaching some stoppage time, guys. I think we've got maybe 20 seconds left in the time officially. Or at least if you're going by the broadcast time.
Thomas Gomez keeping it in front of him. Now he'll throw it over towards the right where it will be picked up by Pedro Delgado. Delgado gets taken down. Will we see a card coming out? Looks like the left hand of the official has one in his arms, and he will raise it. That will go to Pugh, so he gets booked in what we assume is additional time. So it's going to go officially, Mark, as the 45th minute.
And Ryan, when you really look at it, you talked about as physical as Fullerton's playing. Joe, Saddleback has decided that they're going to bring the big boy game today. You want to throw a punch? I'll turn around and slap you across the face.
Right, well, and this is something we've seen. Fullerton's squad can handle the physical play. We've seen them be chippy. Like I said earlier, we've seen them make some poor tackles in and around their 18-yard line. It's cost them in the currency of penalty kicks and goals scored against them a couple times this season. And then now we hear Saddleback doing some of this.
To the back, Bourbonnais trying to keep it out. And it won't matter because it hit the crossbar.
What we did see, though, is Cyprus really seemed to get under this Hornet squad skin. And we did see when you get them a head full of enough steam, their play got really affected, Ryan.
They did. And when you look at OEC opponents, what you'll traditionally see is they have played each other at least once, so you don't get the opportunity for a lot of those little grudges, we'll call them, to go away as much. Between these two squads, if I remember correctly, it was a 3-0 result to Fullerton last time they played. As Omar Ruiz tries to keep that in front of him, deflects off of a Bobcat, goes out, and Fullerton will throw in.
Yeah, you're right, Ryan. And Hayden Kenny spread his wings on that day and looked like that offensive threat that you guys have talked about so often.
Here's Ruiz going right to the touchline, can't get possession of it, and Pugh is able to work him to the sideline, and a throw-in coming up. So we're sitting at about 2 minutes into additional time unofficially. By unofficially, it's official to us because it feels correct. Here's Nathan Giles. Giles pushed from behind. Foul going against Junn. Ariola will step up to it. Second on the team in goals. He's got 3. He decides to switch over towards the left side of the back line to Max Ron. Ron tied for the lead in goals overall with 4. Ariola looks for the floater, looking for Ruiz. Ruiz into Giovanni Sanchez, and it's off sides. Actually, I take it back. They're going to call a foul right in the middle of the box.
It was down the box, Ryan. What he did is he used his body to clear space so that he could get to the ball. The bench did not agree with that call, but then again, the bench.
I believe the job for any bench is to not agree with the call.
Unless it's on my side?
That is correct.
All right. Thank you, Corey Naylor.
In that case, when it is for your side, the exact reaction is, how come that wasn't earlier?
Yeah, exactly. I think the referees, I don't know, guys. I got to ask you, you've seen enough games. What is your feeling about the way the referees have reffed this year?
I think this year has been a lot better than last year from what I saw overall, a lot more balance. Honestly, the statement from me is we have gotten to a point where we haven't noticed them.
No.
Speaking of the officials, they say, hey, that's going to do it for the first 45 of play between these two sides. Fullerton and Saddleback played to a scoreless draw at the end of the first 45 of play. So with one half gone in OEC play, the final OEC match day of the season, Fullerton College and Saddleback with no score. And as we mentioned, Fullerton College with a win would definitely assure themselves a first-round bye. Now, they still can get that first-round bye since they are in the top 10. All they would need is a minimum of a draw against Saddleback, but to really assure themselves and make it be no doubt about it, Fullerton would need at least a win in this one. Now, Saddleback on the other side, with a win tonight, would assure themselves the opportunity to host a game, a postseason matchup on their campus. But on the other side, with a draw, they're going to be in the postseason no matter what. Based off of power points to this point, Saddleback is right there, and they will be in the postseason regardless of the result here tonight. It's going to be better for them, as we said, a chance to host a playoff matchup on their campus. A chance to host a playoff matchup on their campus if they get a win over Fullerton College. That's going to be huge for them because, as we mentioned, you look at this Saddleback team, a newer squad, we will say, with the program still trying to get its footing here in the Orange Empire Conference. But if you're looking at it from a fan's perspective, you say, okay, this squad overall matching up well against Fullerton, matching up well against the top 15 teams in the state of California. That's more than you can ask from the Saddleback team to this point. Now, you look at it from Fullerton's perspective. Of course, last year, as we said, they earned a first-round bye. They were one of the top 2 teams in the state of California entering the postseason. They were top 3 in power points overall. They were top 5 in the entire nation. But in getting that bye week, that bye for a match day, it didn't feel like Fullerton College ended up benefiting from it as much as they would have liked. Why, you ask? Because of the playoffs and how they ended up going against Fullerton College's wishes. As we had it here on Futbol Fridays, Fullerton, unfortunately, if you are a Hornet fan, didn't end up getting the result that they wanted. They lose in penalties to Santa Barbara, and the Fullerton College Hornets have one of their best regular season teams in their squad's history, end up not getting the deep run that they were looking for initially. But that changes all this season. For Fullerton College, they are more than apt and more than able to get themselves a chance to have a deep run into the postseason coming up because of how well they are balanced offensively. As we talked about earlier, Max Ron, 4 goals, 4 assists, 12 points, 6 shots. Just 6 shots overall. Yes, 2 of them have been from the penalty marker, but 6 shots overall, and he has 4 goals leading the team overall. Then you move it over to Hayden Kenny. He's got 4 goals, 2 assists, has only started 10 matches for this program, but yet he's still creating offense for this team. Right behind him are 4 different guys with 3 goals apiece: Cesar Marquez, Andrew Ariola, Thomas Gomez, Josias Palacios, and Brandon Acevedo, each with 3. Then you go Jacob Pons, who is added 2. Pedro Delgado also has 1. Nathan Giles has 1. Juan Luis Quintana, who last year was very good for this squad offensively. Each of those guys contributing and finding ways to get this program chances to win matches. They've done exactly that. As we said before, this Fullerton team has one of the best Orange Empire Conference results that they have had, not only just in recent memory, but in program history, if you're looking at it from a historical perspective. So, Fullerton College and Saddleback to this point, no score, as we are at the half. We're going to step aside for just a moment. When we come back, We will have a little bit more on this half and also some more on our ticker as we have some of the results from across the state that you have to pay attention to if you are a fan of either Fullerton College or Saddleback. You're watching Football Fridays on Hornet Radio. as we get set for this second half mark, and here in the second half, plain and simple, Fullerton College didn't have their best first half. I wouldn't say Saddleback had their best first half either. And now it's an excellent opportunity for these two teams to really set the tone that they want going into Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah, I thought they played pretty even. I thought Saddleback was a little more aggressive out there. They had the majority of what felt like attacks, but yeah, when you look at it, Fullerton had more of scoring chances, Joe, than the Bobcats did.
Yeah, and like Ryan has said, Fullerton is one of those teams where you get the first marker against them, as Ryan would say, lights a fire under them. They get the first marker on you, lights a fire under them. It's almost, you can't really do anything to this Fullerton squad that doesn't get them amped up and have them shift into a higher gear, a higher intensity while playing this in their matches.
Guys, I will tell you the one thing that concerns all the parents for Fullerton is the way the playoffs are set up. I know it's something that all the coaches agree to with the power rankings, but a lot of the parents said, are we going to get a home game? Do we get a home game? Don't we get a home game? I looked at them and said, I have no idea right now.
That's the question that everyone's going to be asking once Sunday gets here, is everyone is just kind of in a limbo, wondering where exactly they're going to have to travel to, who's going to host. You definitely, Mark, look at this Southern California regional bracket and say there's at least 6 teams that you know for a fact are going to host, and it's not going to be close. Then you have the next 4 teams, 7 through 10, who are looking at it saying, we have a really good case to be made to host. And then you've got 4 teams right after that that say, if we get a good result here tonight, we should be in there too.
Yeah, I mean, and I know everybody says, hey, there's 24 teams, Ryan, but only 8 get a bye the first week. And then that next week, those 8 are going to be at home. So there's only 8 out of the 16 that have an opportunity to maybe have a home playoff game.
Well, and then as you move deeper into the 3C 2A playoffs, it moves up to Northern California, isn't that right?
Yep.
Which I think is a shame because Fullerton's competitors, much like Fullerton's field, beautiful, the Bobcats also have an amazing facility down here in Southern California.
Oh, yeah, they do. It's been a pleasure to be there all year for the men and the women, and the thing that I don't think gets enough love out here, guys, has got to be the coaches. I think BJ and Greg are 2 of the more fun coaches to be around on a soccer field. Yeah, they like to win, but they understand it's a game, and that's important.
Here's a chance through offsides anyways, as it was very close to Saddleback getting a chance to go in on goal all alone. But you mentioned it, Mark. You have seen these 2 coaches in action.
Yeah.
And yes, you've been able to relate to them. You've been able to have conversations with them, as you were talking about. What is the biggest contrast between these 2 teams, or excuse me, these 2 coaches, in terms of style of coaching?
You know what? I think it's really funny. I don't think when you look at the style coaching, there's a lot of difference between these 2.
Here's Ruiz, left side, goes down the middle, cleared away. Nathan Giles takes a crack at it, shot goes to the left.
I think Greg has a definite definition on what he wants to do with his team. I think BJ finds an adaptability to what he wants to do with his team. But what I think they really have in common is they understand soccer is a game. It's a game that allows these young men, and in BJ's case, the young women, to progress in the academic world, and they look for the future of their players. And, Ryan, that's why I say they've got much more in common than they do in difference. You 2 know Greg very well. I just think he's one heck of an educator here at Fullerton College.
Shot taken. Ryan Marino Rojas has to stay alive on it, as that took a funny hop getting over to him and then decided to spin away from him. And all in all, Fullerton will take possession.
And let me say, the staffs that work with them are fantastic individuals. So it's a group. And you need to, as parents, give a lot of love to both these coaching staffs for what they do for the young people you know.
We'll say a little over 5 minutes gone. Wow, that was awful. Over 5 minutes gone here in the second half of play. Fullerton trying to get to the line first. Can't do so. Goal kick coming up.
Well, I know it's difficult to follow a great orator like myself.
I was going to say,
I didn't mean to put pressure on you.
You sure you don't want that cup of coffee, Ryan?
I am quite sure. You know what? That's what I needed. I needed my hot chocolate for the day.
I did not get that. We do need to get hot chocolate upstairs, don't we?
We do. We do.
Yeah, I say next thing we get an electric kettle for the green room, guys.
There we go. You know what? We can get a cold press for hot chocolate.
French press hot chocolate. French cold press hot chocolate.
There we go.
Wow.
Now we're talking.
I'd like a crepe maker, too.
This is a crepe maker. Okay, now we're getting overly fancy and French. This is drop back. Omar Ruiz had it for a second. Loses it. Little jersey tug. That's going to be a yellow card against Ruiz. Well, we assume so for a second, but there it is. All right, it is in fact awarded to him.
I was waiting for it too, right? I was like you. I thought, wait a minute, did the referee miss what we saw?
It looks like Ruiz was hollering at some teammates trying to get some other Hornets into position before that free kick.
Left-handed spinner goes all the way to Marina Rojas, and he makes the grab.
Saddleback in the second half, they're just sending bombs downfield, trying to clear it out of their half and get it into the danger zone for the Hornets, into Bobcats attacking third, let's say.
Taken by Alejandro Gonzalez, excuse me.
That was a beautiful play through, what, 3, 4, almost 5 Hornets, Ryan?
Yeah, that was Andy Garcia, actually, who caught up to that one as this goes off of Ruiz and out. Official says, all right, who did this go away from? And he initially pointed to the Hornets, then laughed, pointed back to the Bobcats, sent it back to the Hornets, and then said, hey, you know what? This is a Hornet, or excuse me, a Bobcats ball.
More proof that the officials truly are the parents on the field. Who did this?
Trying to get to the bottom of it. Then they very quickly take a look at the players and say, I will turn this car around.
Back in my day, I had to run uphill both ways to score a goal.
Now the question is, if anyone has a snack on the field, do the officials get a dad tax?
I love snacks. We have snacks?
Hot chocolate and snacks. That's what we need for the press box. Here's Bones. Bones collides cleats. Foul against Fullerton.
Don't forget to stick with us at the end of the game, too, because we're going to have sophomore night and awards going on. We're going to stick with the awards here towards the end of our game. So just don't think when the game comes to an end, we're going to say goodnight and get the heck out of here. We're going to be on the air for a little longer than normal. And honestly, we won't be talking about who wants to eat what, where, and why.
A little longer than normal. We're
normal. I know we're not normal.
We take our time winding down the broadcast.
Not quite Rashawn Haylock, but, you know, we make sure that we give a proper ending.
Rashawn Haylock.
Sees that go off of Sherman. Sherman says, hey, how come I didn't have any support there? And it's going to go out. Under 30 to play. That's going to at least be a booking. Minimum of a yellow coming up for Gomez.
Yeah, Ryan, really, you sort of see who's trying to take over what here so far. It hasn't feel like anybody has grasped this game to be theirs.
Into the box it goes. Bobcats can't catch up to it. Foul against Saddleback.
Yeah, a little hand on the shoulder used to help rise themselves up to get a header on that one to get the advantage against your Hornets.
Giles, a little bit of trouble there for a second. Hornets get out of it. Here's Delgado. Delgado in behind his guy, and Rotocinder will take it away. Hornets get it right back. Cisco Torres. Torres with the long ball, tries to go through. Bourbonnais takes over. Cesar Marquez away from 2. Finds Lutmeyer, and a foul against Fullerton. So both these two teams kind of a little bit of a herky-jerky style at this point where they're trading off fouls and trading possession too.
Yeah, and it looks like the officials calling a little closer now because we know what has happened when teams get extremely physical with each other, gets very, very chippy.
Little poke over towards Ariola. Down the middle of the frame, he'll find Bones. Bones with a big boot to Pedro Delgado, who is onside for the moment being. But Bourbonnais says, I've got it in center field. And he makes the catch. Here's Ron. Now Rodecinder. Torres. Good pass to Delgado. Delgado on the turn. Fullerton College with Marquez. Marquez already has a game winner this season. Gets shaded out of bounds, and it will be a Fullerton throw-in. To the middle. No one there for the Hornets, who would have been onside. Coming in from behind is Thomas Gomez, and Gomez sees that one go up high. Left liner. Sherman deflects from 3, and the Hornets can't get past it. Sherman, athletic play to keep it in for a moment, but it's finally going to make its way past that far side touchline and out. Couple of substitutions.
And what we're watching here too, Ryan, it looks like everybody's looking for that initial break where I'm going to put it out deep. I'm going to let that one person run underneath it. And the defense has played that way against their opponents here in the start of the second half. Jared Rodriguez now looks like they're coming out to help the Fullerton College Hornets.
And Rodriguez has gotten some meaningful time in Orange Empire Conference play. 26:30 on the clock in regulation between these two sides. A draw assures both of them of basically standing pat. To the left, here's a chance for Delgado. Can't catch up to it in time. Nathan Aquino was there for the Bobcats. He slides it out of play. And Fullerton, I believe, has a very deep toss in.
You know, both sides, guys, putting in some work in this second half. And, you know, as the man once said, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Actually, I take that away. I think it might be a corner. Nope, there goes Nathan Giles. So it is, in fact, a throw-in. So Giles right next to the stick on our left-hand side. He'll throw it in. 4 different Hornets in the middle. Tosses it deep towards the post. It's off the hand of 2, deflects in. It's a goal. Fullerton College has taken the lead, and it is Cisco Torres who puts it away.
And it was a crowd waiting for an elevator. Right there as we have a player down. Do we have a player down?
We do. It is Bourbonnais, actually, at the moment, as the athletic training staff for Fullerton College patrols the sideline, just checking to see whether or not he needs assistance, and he is up on his own power.
And you sort of wonder, Ryan, if he was down there just because that goal got in. He got lost in the crowd, and that's what it was. A huge crowd trying to get onto the elevator, and you know it's usually the smallest person, I would understand this, that gets crushed into the corner and realize the person they're standing next to is standing on their foot instead of you standing on your own feet, and that's what happened on that one as the Hornets get on the board.
For Cisco Torres, it is his first collegiate goal. So congratulations are in order to him. 1 goal, 1 assist this season. He's got 3 points. That's a big marker for the Hornets to take over top of Saddleback at this point.
Well, like Mark and I were saying in the first half of the game, with the Hornets, you never know what foot might send that ball to the back of the net. It's like picking up a sack of cats. You're not sure what the safe part is.
You know, I've never done that.
Neither have
So-
I. It's
oh,
dangerous.
Okay, I thought maybe you knew.
Just, oh my gosh.
Ryan Marino Rojas
That was some-
trying to pick up the bag of cats.
That was
And
some contact with the keeper.
Just got a piece of it. There was Jun as he tried to keep that one alive just enough to keep his momentum moving forward. Hornets trading possession back and forth. They get it back. Marquez with the gloves on sees this go over to Kyle Sherman.
Did you have a bag of catnip, too, when you were picking up those bag of cats?
No, I said I never did that.
Oh, okay. I thought Joe was messing with devil weed or something.
What?
Well, you know, that's what catnip does to kitties. Treats them like, you know, they're
Is that kind of like back? Is that some slang from like back in the 80s when like bad meant good?
what? You mean like I'm bad?
Really, really bad.
To the bone?
Two different references, and they both work. This is bad. This is not good. 23 minutes go, or 23 minutes left in this one.
Mark, put
Down
on
the
another
middle.
pot of coffee. Take us home, baby.
We'll be back.
Here's Marquez. He takes it away, takes a shot, and Bourbonnais is there.
There we go, Ryan. That's Fullerton. They got one. They're up one. And where most teams would kind of maybe park the bus, maybe relax a little bit, there's a fire underneath this squad.
Hayden
And
Kenny.
no whistle.
Yeah, and I don't think there should be one on that one. He did actually jump right over the contact.
He did, but, I mean, he still went down. I feel like at a certain point you have to call. And again, for those of you tuning into the broadcast, the official stats and scores brought to you by Hornet Radio.
Well, the clock's not
The clock
running
is
either.
stopped.
I mean, the clock stopped. You know, all of a sudden we talked to, oh, there we go. Let's just
God,
turn everything off.
Don't tell them I'm a technician. I don't want to fix it.
You know what happens? Catnip. Your bag of cats got loose. Everybody now is on the catnip down in the other room, and look what happened.
They were
the
calling-
lights went out.
They were calling it bad. Somebody thought it meant good.
Old means young. Let's restart the game here on Hornet Radio.
That wouldn't go that
Cats
far.
living with dogs. Mass pandemonium.
Oh, man, I tell you what. You know the world's
know-
coming to an end.
You know what today does call for? We've mentioned it before.
Hot chocolate?
A chili dog.
Oh, I take that.
I'll take two, and I'll have one for breakfast tomorrow.
Again, you can have the chili dog for breakfast. That is okay. You just cannot call a chili dog breakfast food.
So what if I put eggs with that chili dog? It's chili dog with eggs.
Yeah.
Eggs is a breakfast food. If I'm having a breakfast food at breakfast time, everything that goes with it is breakfast.
No. You are having a breakfast food with the chili dog.
If
you
I'm
can
having-
have the chili dog at breakfast. It is just not breakfast food.
Okay, I'm having chili cheese fries for breakfast. Potatoes, breakfast food. Chili, cheese, breakfast food.
There you go.
No. The potatoes are breakfast food. The chili can be considered a breakfast food. Putting them together does not make it a breakfast food.
So I'm
In
having
fact,
I'm
it
having
takes it away.
I'm having a chili omelet, and I put hot dogs inside. That is breakfast.
That is not breakfast. Well, okay,
Hot
that
dogs could
can
be
be
considered
breakfast.
a form of
That
sausage.
can-
That's
Mark.
right.
No. That can be breakfast. It is not a breakfast food. Those are very different things. It's like this. If you have a steak at night, right, that is not a breakfast food. But if you have a steak in the morning with eggs, that's a breakfast food because that is steak and eggs.
And if
Those
you
are
have
two
a-
different things.
And if you have a steak with a vampire, you should be able to take them out.
Lots of garlic.
Okay.
Only if Buffy's around.
Ball booted over towards the middle. Under 20 minutes to play in this one. Fullerton and Saddleback. It is Fullerton 1 and Saddleback 0. They're trying to find that equalizer if you're a Bobcat fan. Offsides for Fullerton.
They were juggling the ball for a second. I thought that was maybe a high boot that was getting called.
So did I, actually, Joe. Looking at the middle of the park, since that ball was at about shoulder level, I thought the exact same thing as you. I thought that was going to be called as the cleats were up just a shade, but ends up being an offsides on the far side of the pitch. Ball to the middle. Goes towards Sherman. Sherman now with Kevin Castro. Castro sees this one floated left side. Marquez in a foot race. Marquez with it once more, left side. He likes to work from there, has already told us that once before. Now a scooper looking for the back post, almost connects there. Marquez trying to create his own offense. Back for it is Acevedo. And finally taken away by Jason Starks. Starks with it. Sent over towards Kevin Sanchez. Sanchez finds Rodecinder. Rodecinder gets that one slid away from him. Cisco Torres, the goal scorer, is able to slide it away, and Rodecinder gets called for a foul.
You know what, Joe? I just realized you came up with a nickname for this soccer team. Bag of Cats, because you never know who's going to score. You never know who's going to make the big play. You never know who's going to be the defensive star for this team.
Here's Castro down the middle looking for the deflection to Palacios. Now a chance to bring it back inside, and it is sent out off the body of a Bobcat, and it will be a throw-in for Fullerton College once more.
And if you're hipsters, they're all cool cats, baby.
You remember how I said the old is young thing doesn't work? That is where that doesn't work.
Oh.
No,
Why not?
Ryan. I think old people are wise. They're like tall Yodas.
I'm an Asian car? Is that what he just called me? A
No,
Toyota?
No, they're like tall Yodas. Like
Oh,
Yoda
tall
from Star Wars. Star
Yodas.
Wars.
Man, I thought you were calling me like a Yaris or something. I thought, come on.
Throw in for the Hornets. On the other side, I'm broken. I'm a broken man. This is deflected out. Goes off the Bobcats and a corner kick coming up.
I think Saddleback, maybe at this point in the game. We've got a question mark amount of time after some of that stoppage. 15-ish minutes. They need to be a little less like Bobcats out there. And I said this about Fullerton last year a couple times. They need to be more like Goldfish right now. They're down 0-1. They're down by 1. Shrug it off. Goldfish has a 10-second memory, man. It's in the past. Forget about it.
Till they get flushed. Then they go, not me.
Corner kick Hornets. High floater goes over towards Torres, intercepted there. Chance for Fullerton College, a shot deflected away from Palacios, and it will be taken over by the Bobcats. So Fullerton heavy pressure ever since getting the opening marker, but the Bobcats have a chance to run. Here's a chance with Peterson. He gets caught up to by Hayden Kenny, gets dropped, the advantage played towards Saddleback. Here's Kevin Sanchez, now to Rodecinder. He's got 2 shots in this one, back to Sanchez. Sanchez still looking for one. He's got Peterson. Peterson down the middle to Rodecinder, who gains possession. Nice touch. Rodecinder on the layback. Alex Martinez this time. Fullerton with pressure. They bring up 2. One is Josias Palacios.
That was a fantastic little bit of passing around the park, kind of pulling Fullerton's offense into different directions as they were trying to work it up, and got deflected out of bounds by, who's that down there, 28? That'd be Max Janowitz, I think.
Yeah, Janovich. Fullerton opening up that bench, Joe. And I mean, going back to what you were talking about, you said it 2 games ago.
Being Goldfish?
Well, there's that. But I was going to say
the tall Yoda thing.
the chili dogs, actually.
Okay.
I was going to say, oh, they finished their food before we could find out what it
I'll
was.
tell you.
But I was going to say this is a Hornet lineup that is very deep, right? You talked about the subs and that Fullerton can take a different style of offense no matter who is on the pitch. Here's a chance, little side spinner opportunity for a second. Almost there for the Bobcats, but Ryan Marino Rojas is able to catch up to it. Sophomores for this Fullerton College squad, Ryan Marino Rojas, Evan Yole, joined by Julio Toaza, Evan Courtney as well, Juan Luis Quintana, Cesar Marquez, Thomas Gomez, Hayden Kenny, in addition to Jacob Bonts, Ricardo Michel, Pedro Delgado, Jair Vargas also there as well, and Chris Busane.
So we had a scrum going down the end. It was person to person. They hit the track, and Ryan, they both went down. Fullerton popped right up, and now we finally get the player off the tartan turf.
Substitution in for Fullerton. So Nathan Giles ends up getting all of a minute and a half to work for on that side of the park. Kyle Sherman comes right back on. Josias Palacios takes a seat. Giles takes over on the left. So both those two guys working their off wing than what they're used to. Produces a little bit more offensively for Fullerton with the angle. Little scooper right side. Heavy machinery outside Fullerton. Trying to get in on the action here, watching on as that's a foul.
Well, I mean, so there's other things tonight with how chippy this game has kind of been, right, guys? We're this close to postseason. We've seen chippy play happen. Most unfortunate thing is injuries going into postseason at the end of conference. What doesn't help with that is the cold air.
Yeah.
Which is why we're seeing some of the Hornets, I think, maybe spending a little extra time trying to warm up before they enter the pitch.
Yeah, the thing, too, here, Joe, when you look at it, I mean, if you knew that you had games wrapped up, maybe Greg would play this game a little differently. I'm not sure he would. But if you're Saddleback, I mean, you lay it all out there right now. Again, it's starting to get physical. And Saddleback, here's where Saddleback will go. We're not getting the same calls as Fullerton is. We've heard that. We hear that for the inconsistency. That's why I asked you guys where you saw the referees this year calling the game.
I feel like more often than not, the refs have been letting the teams give it as much as the other teams have been. So the mentality's been, if you can give it, you better be able to take it as well. But there also does come a point in the game where it just gets chippy, and I think you need to rein it in, especially when maybe one team is down or ahead and there's some extra physicality that does not need to happen. At that point, it's almost just bullying on the field, right, Mark?
Yeah, yeah.
Here's Marquez looking to turn to his left. Chipped off a Bobcat and out. Tried to send that one in on a low-driven ball twice. Got blocked both times. Nathan Giles, the throw-in specialist for these Hornets, coming out onto the field over to our left.
I'm still thinking about those churros, guys. Was that ice cream with there that you think was with that churros, or was that whipped cream? Because it feels like ice cream. Ice cream's like seeing Billy Joel live. It never disappoints.
Here's a toss in, almost goes in for the Hornets, but it's a foul in behind the play, as the Hornets end up fouling Bourbonnais. It's actually whipped cream, Joe.
Was it?
We had those churros in the second match of the season.
Oh,
and
that's right.
They were quite delicious.
Yeah, some people took churros home that night.
They were quite good. Here's a chance on the right side for the Bobcats. Little toss over the top. Here's Rodecinder working against Nathan Giles. Rodecinder gets taken down.
That was
free kick.
just slipping. His feet went out from under him. I think he tried to make contact with the ball, went a little too hard, and I think he was counting on making contact with the Hornet over there to help kind of slow him down.
That's the exact same feeling that is being parroted by all the Fullerton fans directly in front of us as well. Oh, you know what? Someone brought a heated blanket. Now, they were smart. Rodecinder. He's going to lay this one down. Free kick on the right-hand side. Everyone moving around. The official taking a look. Couple of runs there near the front post and cleared away by Max Ron.
And that was really a beautiful attack on it because if Ron's not there, Ryan, it is a clear shot for a goal.
There were two different Bobcats in the area.
That's also a header that you have to take with a level of precision or have some authority when heading the ball that way. We've seen a header in that same position, I think, earlier this year.
Little deflection, goes off of two. Bobcats are there, but it's a foul against Saddleback.
But I feel like we've seen somebody try to deflect a header away from the goal, and we had an own goal earlier this year.
We did.
Kind of similar.
You are correct. It was actually a ball goes off the foot own goal 2 matches ago. Little deflection right down the middle where Fullerton tried to center it, goes off the foot of the back line, goes in. Those poor churros.
Yeah, I tell you.
Here's Acevedo, left-hand side. He's got plenty of room to run. He's going to find the corner, working against two, slid away from him. And again, Nathan Giles is going to have a workout here for him as he's going to have to take over and toss this one in for the Hornets. 6.5 left in this 90 of regulation. We know that there's going to be at least 4 minutes of additional time.
An amount.
Yeah, one of the amounts of all time will be added to the end of this one. And Saddleback again. The stakes currently are Fullerton with the win would basically assure themselves of a minimum of a first-round bye. Saddleback with a win would give themselves an excellent chance to host a playoff matchup on Wednesday.
When Saddleback doing a great job out here, continuing to be motivated, playing some inspired football, and they certainly don't appear like they've hit the panic button tonight yet.
Little back touch there that was given by Acevedo. Played it well, but didn't end up working the way that he wanted to. Max Ron says, hey, you see the baseball field directly behind me? I'm going to send it to the left. And he clears it out of play, and a new ball will have to be returned. Rodecinder takes a seat. Coming in for him is Ryan Mann once more. Little whistle after the ball was put into play. Foot race, far side of the pitch as Saddleback ends up not catching up to it in time. Little slide on the tarmac. That was Jason Starks who was chasing after it, the 5'7" freshman out of Elisa Miguel.
A little women's volleyball going on campus. IVC playing. I thought I got turned off for
Mark
a second.
was silenced.
There. Yeah, I got silenced. Well, I tell you what.
He's trying to promo the rest of the college.
You
And this
know,
guy,
and
you know
then all of
what?
a sudden somebody just went, nah.
Be
We
quiet.
don't need to do
You know
that.
what? You know how Mark was talking about everything old is new? Well, Mark was on stage, and they brought out the big cane.
The
and
big
just
hook.
hooked him right off stage. Exit stage left for Mark Pavlovich.
Well, you know, that's what it is. When you are the talent, no one can play with you because you're that good. So they have to keep you quiet somehow.
Hey, let me know when that talent walks in.
It's not here yet.
We do enjoy Mark being on the air with us, the voice of Cypress and Saddleback. So if you are a Cypress or Saddleback fan watching here tonight, you are very familiar with Mark's voice. He's been bringing you Saddleback Bobcat soccer throughout the entirety of the season. And Mark, you have given us nothing but rave reviews of that program as Marino Rojas is able to catch up to that. That program, the fan base, and also the coaching staff as you continue to work with the Saddleback Bobcats.
Yeah, I mean, the program itself is fantastic. The administrative aspect of the school takes care of its student athletes and all its athletes out there. They don't spare a nickel on anything they do down there, that's for sure.
Here's Hayden Kenny on the left. Down the middle, a chance, and a save is made by Bourbonnais. The spectacular one in net once more. A clear, open frame to work with for Acevedo. The eyes got wide, and yet Bourbonnais was able to be there.
You know what I like? I like that I told you he was an athlete. I think he's proven that tonight.
Just a little bit. As we might get another booking here. It goes against Sherman. I don't think he got booked for the action itself. I think he's getting booked for talking after the fact.
Well, and from here, I can hear the Saddleback side coming alive. At that shot on goal, we had the Fullerton supporter section come alive. Crowd starting to get into it as we're in the closing minutes of this game.
Well, for Brandon Acevedo, he thought he had his second goal of the season. And Hayden Kenny, on his end, thought that he had his third assist.
That was a beautiful through ball.
Yeah, no, Kenny laid it out there on the right, just perfect. And the only thing that was wrong about the play for Fullerton College is that Bourbonnais was the one in goal.
Right, Bourbonnais is over there, and he's been like a mason. He has built a brick wall in front of that goal tonight.
Evan Yole hops onto the pitch for Fullerton College, so a very sophomore-heavy lineup out there for Fullerton. As David Garcia is going to enter in just a little bit, or excuse me, David Suarez.
That's another thing we've talked about. Quite a few sophomores on this team. We're used to seeing some sophomores on the team, but also you look at this squad, and normally when you have a team that's performing this well, that's
for a moment. Also looking to enter in a moment is Leon Huang.
You know, let's give all the coaches love here in the OEC. They really go out and promote this game of soccer for all of us that have been involved with all of the coaches here in the OEC this year. I know, guys, you've got to talk to them. I've got to talk to them more than once. This is an outstanding group of coaches on the men's side and women's side. And the game of soccer is alive and well in the OEC, Ryan Osborne and Joseph Popolenko.
Yes, it is. So are the supporters just under the press box are alive and well.
I hope so.
They are stomping, they are clapping, they are pounding on the bleachers and letting their presence be known.
If you've ever had the opportunity to come over here to Hal Scherbeck Field with these metal bleachers, as the supporters over to our left starting the Dale Fullerton chant. But if you've ever been out here, you really can feel the fans when they start to get into it, whether it be for Fullerton College football or gridiron football as well. You can get that sense of just how engaged they are with each and every matchup.
Yeah. Well, and to kind of tie it all together, the supporter section's out here, the coaches in the OEC, they're all just a group of people who care, Ryan, you know, not unlike people at a hip-hop concert that don't have their hands in the air, right? Like, put your hand. No? Okay. All right. That one didn't land. It's all right.
That's okay, Blue Eyes.
There used to be a ballpark right here. Left side, ball goes out. And the Bobcats are going to throw this one in. Alex Ione trying to get the attention of Leon Huang on that far side of the park. Huang getting into his fifth. Evan Yole and his supporters section directly beneath us, cheering as he got into the action there. Fullerton getting their first goal at home in 2 matches earlier in this one. Cisco Torres currently, as it stands, as that is a pull from behind on the jersey. Everyone asking, hey, where's the card on that one? We're into additional time, and like Mark says, it's just kind of an play.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's Suarez.
Well,
He walks it right to the corner and says, hey, let's brace for impact. That's exactly what happens as Suarez gets checked out of play.
That is something if you look at the scoreboard, we're at the OEC 2. which means we're probably in stoppage time, Ryan. You did not need to use another player as your emergency break in that play.
Not at all, especially because you knew what he was going for. You knew that he was going to just try and waste some time in the corner. It was just a matter of whether or not you were going to play into that or not. And for Fullerton, if you're noticing on this one, Joe, the free kick is down here in the corner over to our left, if you're not able to see online. They're going to waste some time, but everyone else for Fullerton College is at midfield. Bobcats take it away, and they end up forcing a foul against Fullerton College.
Well, I mean, that's basic kind of park the bus mentality, right? Keep them from getting the ball, stack the midfield so you can stop an attack and let the time run out, because you know the next play might as well be the last play of the match.
You got 7 guys back for Fullerton, and now everyone inside of their own defending third. No one pressuring all that much. Evan Yole back into it, gets a couple of attempts to clear, and he does exactly that on each of those 2 attempts. Cesar Marquez. Marquez gets that one slid away beautifully, but it is cleared. Here's Aquino. Down to Bourbonnais. At some point, you got to think if Saddleback wants to go out for the goal, they will bring up Bourbonnais, but it will not matter. As I say the words, Fullerton College finishes off this matchup a full 90 minutes, and Fullerton takes a 1-0 victory. So for Fullerton College, make sure that you are paying attention to the 3C2A and the FC Hornets athletic homepage throughout the entirety of the week. We believe from a broadcasting standpoint that, Mark, and I'll bring you into this, we believe that from a broadcasting standpoint, they have earned themselves a first-round bye with the win tonight.
Yeah, I'll be surprised, Ron. I'll be the first one to say I really don't get it if they don't get a first-round bye and then get a, not withholding any major upsets that are out there, they should get a home game in the second week. I'm going to put them that far up that they're going to be one of the 8 that make it for the first 2 weeks.
So we will see what the news is throughout the entirety of the week. Again, stay with the FC Hornets athletic homepage to see when the next game comes up. It will either be Wednesday or Saturday. They will be here on on Hornet Radio. Wow, I almost pulled a mark there for a second.
Wow.
But they will be here on Hornet Radio, regardless of if it's Wednesday or Saturday. It will be a home matchup, and we will carry it live. Joe, real quick, want to bring it to you. You were talking about it, the old bag of cats for this Fullerton College squad. They get a game-winning goal from a guy who had yet to get one from in his collegiate career, and he gets the game winner.
And Mark, I'm going to lump you in with me. I think that's why we see Fullerton being like Hercules. This team can go the distance, man. You never know where that attack can come from. Somebody broke onto the score sheet tonight because you don't know where it's safe to touch the bag of cats, man. It can come from anywhere at any time, it seems like. And Fullerton, like Mark said, there's the skill, there's the hard work. And when you're trying to write that fairy tale ending, you need just a little bit of luck. And this Fullerton squad, yes, hard work, yes, they've earned it, but they also have Lady Luck on their side, it seems, this season.
Yeah, and diversity pays off, and I think we've seen that as we're going to celebrate sophomore night here on Hornet Radio. So we're sticking around for a few minutes. We're going to get the awards in here. They want to talk about the young men and what they're actually bringing. I'm going to go down and get my ball because they're going to award me one down here.
So, with Mark saying that, the rest of the way, you're going to hear from the ceremony that will be taking place on the field. That's going to do it from us from a broadcast perspective. Everything else will be down on the field. So we want to thank everyone who has joined us here tonight. Aiden, want to thank him for being on camera and also helping out with the switching. Also want to thank Wade Donahoe for being on camera as well. Becky Nguyen, Sam Sasenia, Joseph Pavlenko, Mark Pavlovich, I am Ryan Osborne. Thanking you for joining us on Futbol Fridays. Don't forget, Wednesday or Saturday, we are going to have a home game live for you here on Hornet Radio. Stay with the FC Hornets athletic homepage or the 3C2A to find out exactly when it will be. Either way, you will hear from myself, Mark, and Joe as we host the first or second round of the CCCAA playoffs. right here on Hornet Radio. You have been watching Fullerton College take a 1-0 win over top of Saddleback on Hornet Radio.
Is Max out in the field? And you got to come out too. Nobody's calling us yet.
Hornets. You're second, yeah. Yeah. Joe, you're behind. Joe. I like the beat. You're running it, spin.
Yeah, if there's something, I don't even know what they're doing.
It might be.
When you run, the wings go. Yeah, good. Put your hoodie on.
Guys, number of orders.
All right, what a game, you guys, right? So the first person for our sophomores that we're going to represent is Jacob McCormick. He's accompanied by Christy McCormick and McKaylee McCormick. Jacob McCormick has a 3.4 GPA and his major will be IDS and social media. He has a 3.4 and his transfer goals are to transfer to a welding trade school. His favorite food is chicken and rice, candy in his trolley, watermelon worms, and trolley warm berry flavor. His favorite snacks are pretzels and his favorite drink is cactus cooler. Jacob's favorite verse is, do to others whatever you would like to do to you. Matthew 7:12. Jacob's favorite memory at Fullerton College was playing 90 against San Bernardino Valley College and keeping a clean sheet. His sophomore theme song is Moving Out by Billy Joel, and his message to the team is, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to the team for all the incredible support for the past 2 years. Your encouragement, dedication, and guidance have meant the world to me and pushed me to grow in both on and off the field. Thank you for the great memories. Jacob's message to the coaches is, I'm glad you guys kept pushing me to come to Fullerton and assisting me through the journey. I appreciate you guys for sticking with me and supporting all my decisions. Thank you for everything. Jacob feels like his legacy is, I believe I left my legacy teaching, helping others during practice and games, and supporting them through challenges. Thank you, Jacob. We wish you the best. Second up, we have keeper Ryan Rojas, accompanied by Jennifer Miranda, Ivan Rojas, and Regan Rojas. Ryan has a 3.72 GPA and he's majoring in nursing. His transfer goals are to play at a 4-year and go into nursing program. Ryan's favorite food is hamburger. His favorite candies are sour candies, Mexican candies, and his favorite snack are kettle cooked chips. His favorite quote, when you learn to let go of details you can't control, you'll be able to accomplish incredible feats. His favorite Fullerton College memory was San Francisco trip with his freshman year, going out to eat and dancing at Fullerton with both games that we won up north. His sophomore theme song is California Love by Tupac, and his message to the team is, my brothers, keep pushing your goals. Don't let anything get in your way to be successful, not only on the field, but off the field. And his message to the coaches is, thank you for all that you do for me, especially the champion, Coach Mike, for always believing in me and giving me the confidence to not only be a better keeper, but to be a better person. The legacy that Ryan hopes he left behind is hopefully the legacy I leave behind is someone who is hardworking at training and actively encouraged and supporting his team. We wish you the best, Ryan. Now, number 2, Evan Yole, accompanied by Bruce Yole and Karen Yole. So our captain has a 3.7 GPA, and his major is history, and his transfer is to a 4-year to hopefully play. His favorite food is pizza, candy, red sun chips, and his favorite drink of choice is just plain old water. His favorite quote, "Rack it up," by Coach Miranda. His favorite Fullerton College memory was the last 30 seconds of the IBC game when we ended up scoring the 2 goals. A message to the coaches, I appreciate everything you all did to improve my game in such a little bit of time. You helped me achieve things I never thought were realistic. I will always be grateful for this program. Evan says that the legacy that he thinks he left behind is simple. Just look at the banners behind you. Take care, Gabi. I wish you the best. Next up, we got number 5, our captain, Kyle Sherman. Accompanied by Andy Sherman, Renee Sherman, Kira Sherman, and Fred Sherman. Kyle has a 3.2 GPA, and his major is business. His transfer goals are to continue playing soccer at the 4-year university. His favorite quote is, I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And his favorite Fullerton College memory is winning league this year. And his favorite theme song is Run This Town by Jay-Z. The message to the team is thank you for all the hard work you guys have put in this year. And I'm honored to have been your captain and your teammate. And his message to the coaches is thank you for always pushing me and believing me. And the legacy that Kyle hopes to leave behind is his hard work, always pushing others to be the best. So good luck, and let's go, Captain Sherman. Okay. Number 6, all the way from Ecuador, Julio Tuaza. Accompanied by the great Lorena and Coach Kenny. Julio has a 3.4 GPA, and his major is architecture. His transfer goals are to GCU or any D1 or D2. Julio's favorite drink is in Arizona. Julio's favorite verse is Ciertamente el bien y la misericordia me segura todos los días de mi vida y en la casa del Señor moraré por los largos días. His favorite Fullerton College memory is meeting Coach Greg, Coach Kenny, and Ponce. His favorite sophomore theme song is Ahorita Cero by Mike Towers. His message for the coaches is, le doy gracias a Dios por poner en las vidas ustedes y ayudarme con cambiando mi vida. He hopes his legacy will always be the Ecuadorian who won 3 championships. Wish you the best, buddy. Next, we got Juan Luis Quintana, accompanied by Angela Lopez Camarena and Juan Manuel Quintana. So our bicycle specialist has a 3.0 GPA, and he's undeclared for his major. His transfer goals are to go to UC Santa Barbara, where he hopes to pursue a soccer and education career. His favorite quote is, Los años pasan y el tiempo es oro. Sé que algún día lo tendré todo. His favorite memory is the NorCal trip with the boys, and his message to the team is, I want to thank every person on the team. You guys have made this ride to remember, and for making something that I'm never going to forget happen. His message to the coaches, I'm going to forever be thankful and grateful for what the coaches have done for me, And I want to thank Coach Greg for helping me out in situations where I felt I was done with the sport. I also want to thank Coach Kenny for believing in me and supporting me even when things weren't going my way. And for the rest of the staff, I want to say thank you for being part of my journey and helping me out. Good luck, JQ, and whatever you choose. Next we have Cesar Marquez, accompanied by John Gomez and Aaron Gomez, Artemio Marquez and Leticia Marquez. Marquez is a 3.6 GPA and is majoring in business, and his transfer goals are to transfer with a 4.0 to UCI. Marquez's favorite quote is, "Night doesn't last forever, there's a morning coming in your life, stay down till you come up." Marquez's favorite memory is all the team lunches and the dinners. His message to the team is a 4P and keep the tradition going best again and again. His legacy he hopes to leave behind is his shooting ability and smiling when he's not the happiest. It's time for you to go out and score some bangers at your next school. Number 11, Thomas Gomez, accompanied by John Gomez and Anna Gomez. Thomas Gomez has a 3.1 GPA and he's studying criminal justice. His transfer goals are to get into a 4-year university and continue to play. Thomas' favorite quote is, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." Jeremiah 29:11. Thomas's favorite college memory is the Norco trip and playing FIFA all night with his teammates. Thomas's legacy is, "I hope I had a positive impact in your season and I taught you guys to hang on." Thomas, thank you and have a great one. You got this. Next up, number 12, Nathan Giles, accompanied by Jennifer Giles, Tony Giles, Jason Rhodes, and Gavin Giles. Nate has a 3.2 GPA and his major is in business and his goals are to transfer to Cal State. His favorite quote is by none other than the greatest basketball player ever, Kobe Bryant. Job's not finished. Nate's favorite Fullerton College memory is the first trip up north and winning conference both his years. The message to his team is thank you guys for the brotherhood, and his message to the coaches is thank you for everything you guys have done for me. The legacy that he hopes to leave behind is that he always had a smile on his face. Let's hear it for Nathan Giles. Next up, number 13, Hayden Kenny, accompanied by Drew Kenny, Carter Kenny, John Kenny, and Lisa Kenny. Hayden has a 3.5 GPA and his major is communications, and his transfer goal is to go his collegiate career at a D1 or D2 level. Hayden's quote, "Just because there's a goalie, it doesn't mean you can't score." His message for the team is thank you for all the laughs, tears, jokes, victories, tough times, and for making history as we leave our legacy in this program. His message to the coaches, "I can't express enough gratitude for teaching me so much about the game and the life lessons that I'll carry with me forever. Thank you for making me stronger physically and mentally. You shaped me into the man I am today. I truly appreciate you all for the changes in my life." Hayden hopes his legacy that he left behind is, and I quote, "Mama Yama Sama in the Colombian." Good luck, Hayden. Wish you best, buddy. Number 15, Hector Guevara, accompanied by Mara Monteroso, Fernando Guevara, Jaylani Guevara, and Jade Galan. Hector's GPA is a 3.6, and his major is civil engineering, and his transfer goals are to transfer to a UC or a Cal State. Hector's favorite verse is Proverbs 16:3. Commit to the Lord, and in whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Hector's favorite last-minute game winners we have. His message to the team is, I love you boys. I've had so many laughs and memories with you guys. I really enjoyed all the time spent with you guys. His message to the coaches, thank you for always taking a chance on me. Good luck, Hector. Number 18. Bolsa's GPA is 3.65 and his major is in criminal justice. His transfer goals are to graduate and join a seminary. Bolsa's favorite quote is John 13:7. You do not realize Bolsa's Fullerton College memory is winning league and taking the team picture with the banner. The legacy that Bolsa hopes he leaves behind is about strength and hope that faith brings my belief in God has shaped my actions, relationships, and values. I want people to remember that no matter what I face, I lean on that faith as my foundation. I hope my life shows others peace and direction that comes from believing. Let's hear it from Bolsa and have a blessed journey. Next up, number 19, Omar Chiquis Ruiz. Accompanied by Nez Mendoza. Omar has a 3.0 GPA and his major is business administration. His transfer goals are to get an associate's and bachelor's degree. Omar's favorite verse is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. His sophomore theme song is Do It For All by Jeremy Knight. Omar's legacy is I think I left behind that I always having a smile on my face, even when things were going in my favor. Let's hear it for Chiquis. Good luck, buddy. Next up, number 20, Ricky Botas Messi Michel. Messi is accompanied by Alec, Coach Kenny. Ricky has a 3.4 GPA and his major is computer information science. His transfer goals are to go to UCI or Cal State Fullerton. His favorite quote is from Botas, when everything falls apart in your life and your plan is messed up, you get fired from your job, you lose your car, you lose your loved ones, you fail an exam, and you're at the bottom of the depth chart, what the hell are you going to do? There's only one freaking option. Stay hard. From Botas. Botas' message to the team is to make every moment count because it doesn't count and stop being a little... Yeah. So Ricky's message to the coaches is keep doing God's work. Botas hoped that his legacy was never giving up. Thank you again, Botas. Thank you again. Number 22, Pedro Delgado. Accompanied by Lydia Delgado, Porfirio Delgado, Melvin Delgado. Pedro has a 3.89 GPA and his major is in business, where he hopes to transfer to a university and continue his education. His favorite college memory is North Cal trip with the team his freshman year. His message to the team, I would like to thank my team for all the memories and support over the past season. I'm grateful for the friendships and the growth and lessons along the way. I'm proud of my accomplishments we've had together. And the message to the coaches, I would like to thank the coaches for everything you've done for me. Over the past couple of years, the guidance, support, belief in me means a lot. And I'm grateful for the challenges and opportunities given to me as they made me better as a player and a person. Pedro's legacy wants to be remembered as a competitor and someone who never gave up, regardless of whether or not things are working out. R.I.P. Mochi. Let's hear it for Pedro. Last but certainly not least, number 47, Chris Busi Busane. Busane has a 3.5 GPA and his major is in business administration. His transfer goals are that he wants to transfer to a D2 school. Busane's favorite verse is Romans 8:18. The pain you have never been feeling can't compare to the joy that is coming out. His message to the team: thank you guys for allowing me to be on this team as a friend, but as a brother to you guys that you guys can always rely on. Thank you, coaches, for the opportunity to call this place home for the last couple of years, and you guys took me in and believed in me. That I was going through a rough time with so many injuries and hardships, and for that, I will always be forever grateful. He hopes to be remembered as someone who gave 110% every day, and that will never complain. He said just put his head down and work, and someone that was an example. That is how you start, not how you finish. Let's hear it for your sophomores. Thank you guys again for an amazing season. See you guys at the playoffs.